Hey everyone, this is my 1080 Ti SLI build finally put together and fully functional. It's in the Corsair Carbide 740 Air case. It's a very large case. There's plenty of room to make installation of every component very easy. For cooling, it's got 3 Corsair ML120 Pro fans for intake. This is a Redragon MMO gaming mouse. It's a very nice mouse for $20. It's comparable to the Razer Naga. Here we've got 2 Noctua NF AW14 fans, 140 millimeters, running exhaust. Here on the side we've got a see-through cover. It's not tempered glass, but it looks pretty good. Opens very easily with this handle. You can see the interior. See the back side of these ML120 fans, red, white, and blue. I'm going to show a little patriotism, because there's a lot of places in the world where I wouldn't have been able to build this computer. So I really appreciate being in America where I could put this together. Right now the fans are not running at 100%, but if you turn these fans all the way up, they do make a little noise, but they are very powerful. It feels like the exhaust of a jet plane. We got pretty good cable management going in the case. You can see the wires, the cables pass through these little grommets to the second chamber. The Air 740 has 2 chambers. One chamber for your motherboard and all your components, and the other chamber has storage for your hard drives and your power supply, so that the heat of the two don't mix. Up at the top we've got a Noctua D15 cooler, heatsink combo. The heatsink came with these 2 fans. They're Noctua AW15 fans. They're a different model than the ones on top. They're just designed to push air through the heatsink. The Noctua 14 fans, they can also run as a radiator fan, but right now they're just doing exhaust. For the Corsair case, it's got space to mount a radiator on the top, a radiator on the front, and one on the bottom. So you can put 3 radiators on this thing if you'd rather have water cooling instead of air cooling. These are 2 Corsair fans that came with the case. They were originally on the front. I just moved them from the front to the bottom. They're not bad fans. They get pretty good airflow. They're really quiet. But I just wanted the 3 120 fans for the intake to sort of help push air through this gap between the slide cards, because this top 1080 Ti will get pretty hot without good airflow. Cable management's very nice. There's plenty of grommets to run every cable, every connector. These little anti-vibration mounts, these are also made by Noctua. They're very long, and so it's easy to get them in the corners in the back. Some of them that come with fans, they're pretty short. It's a look like these. These are a lot harder to install. You can get a 16 pack of these from Noctua for like $7. I did tear a few of them though by pulling too hard, and so right now I just got this top fan installed with a zip tie. It's not too bad. I'll eventually get some more of these if they all match. The case also came with this 140 millimeter fan in the back for exhaust. The Noctua heatsink is keeping cool a Intel 7700K overclocked to 4.8 gigahertz. I could probably push it a little further, but for my purposes, I don't really have a need to. It overclocked to 4.8 very easily. Here in the back we've got 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance, 3200 megahertz, DDR4 RAM. These are two MSI Gaming X 1080 Ti's, along with the MSI HB high bandwidth SLI bridge. These are very good graphics cards. I have two monitors attached to this computer. I've got a 1080p 140 hertz 22-inch monitor by Acer. I also have a 28-inch 4K 60 hertz monitor by Prism. I use the 144 hertz monitor for more first-person games and the 4K monitor for pretty much everything else. Most of the time I'm able to run pretty much any game at maximum settings, maximum frame rates, maximum resolution with just the single 1080 Ti, even on 4K 60 frames per second for pretty much every game. There's only a few games like Witcher 3 or Tom Clancy's Wildlands that I have to turn down some settings to be able to get maximum frame rates. And on those games I just turn on SLI mode, because it's usually the games that don't run at maximum settings at full frame rates that also happen to support SLI. So it supports SLI, I'm able to turn on the second card, and even in Tom Clancy's Wildlands, which is a very demanding game, I can get 4K resolution, 60 frames per second. Usually a lot more than 60 frames a second when I'm running it in SLI mode, max settings. It really is a beautiful, beautiful game. When I don't have the SLI mode enabled, I have the second 1080 Ti mining cryptocurrency. So it's already made me a pretty decent amount of money from mining, and eventually it will pay itself off. There's different currencies to mine that run differently on different cards. If you hear a lot of fan noise in the background, it's because I've got two more mining rigs with like 12 GPUs total, and they're mining Ethereum and Ubik and library credits. On this computer I mine Signatum because it gets very good hash rates for the 1080 Ti's. Each 1080 Ti will get 30 mega hash per second with the Signatum algorithm. By comparison, it takes 6 NVIDIA 1060s to get the same hash rate. The fans are pretty quiet. Right now I think they're running at like 60-70%, something like that. But when they turn on to 100%, they do make a little noise. You can hear them, but it's not maddening or anything like that. Not like all the fans and the GPUs in the background anyway. I keep my 1080 Ti's undervolted, usually to like 1700 megahertz at 0.9 volts, and that keeps this top 1080 Ti at 70 degrees Celsius or below. If I don't undervolt them, and I've got both cards, mining, doing very intensive work, then the top 1080 Ti, when it gets up to like 2000 megahertz, it will go up to like 79 degrees Celsius. But when I undervolt it, it stays nice and cool. Each one of these MSI Gaming X 1080 Ti's, they will overclock to 2025 gigahertz, and they do have a very nice overclock to them. But at that speed, they do draw a lot of power and make a lot of heat. The motherboard is a Asus Z170 Pro. It's a pretty good motherboard. It's a Z170, not a Z270, so I had to update the BIOS for it to accept the Intel 7700K, but that wasn't hard since I had a Intel 6600K processor from a previous build. This was originally going to be a budget build, and I built it with the 6600K and an RX 480, but I had some problems and I wasn't really happy with the performance, and so I just kept replacing components and eventually turned into this monster. So it switched from like a $700 build to like a $3,000 build. It's pretty cool. I got my dream computer now and I crush everything, and I'm actually making money off of cryptocurrency mining. I went with the Asus Z170 Pro motherboard because I got a really good deal on it for $80 after rebate, and I didn't really need the extra features of the Z270. I'm not using Intel Optane memory and I don't need Thunderbolt functionality, so this thing had everything I needed. It's got Intel USB, Intel networking, and it's got a really good Realtek Nahimic AC1150 sound chipset in it, which is as good as some of the old medium range dedicated sound chipsets like the Sound Blaster Z that came out a few years ago, and they cost $100. Even today they cost $100, which is more than this entire motherboard. It doesn't have a lot of fancy LEDs on it, but you know, that's okay because you can hardly see any part of the motherboard at all. Underneath the graphics cards, I've got a Samsung 960 EVO 500GB M2 SSD, which is very nice, very fast. It'll boot up in seconds. Alright, here's the side panel for the second chamber with the cover removed. We got a 2TB Seagate FireCuda hybrid hard drive. So it's like a regular mechanical hard drive, but it also has a SSD cache on it, and it learns which files you open up the most, and it will use that cache to increase the load speeds. So I use that for backup storage and, you know, a lot of my games. But the games that really are improved by fast loading speeds, I keep those on the M2 SSD along with the operating system. This is a EVGA G2 850 watt power supply, provides plenty of power to the two 1080 Ti's. If I had bought this today, I would have gone with the EVGA G3, which is nearly platinum level efficiency. It's a very nice PSU, and it's got a very, very good price on it. I've actually got a EVGA G3 1000 watt PSU powering one of my mining rigs in the background, and I love it. It's got a really sleek, sexy design. The cable management's okay, but I got a little bit of a rat nest here that couldn't be helped for all the fan cables. They're all connected via a Silverstone PWM fan hub. These are extra 2.5 inch slots for more hard drives, and there's more 3.5 slots up here at the top. It's real easy to install. You got these little clips, they just pull right out. There's little bays, they just slide in, slide out. I'll eventually probably get another hard drive to add on for more storage, but right now I'm happy with what I got. Alright guys, that's pretty much it, so thanks for watching. If you're interested in building your own rig like this, check out the links in the bottom. I bought most of this stuff on Amazon. I bought a few components on newegg.com. I haven't had problems with anything. I'm real happy with it. I'm living the dream.